As the NBA has grown and expanded over the last couple of decades, we have been seeing an insane amount of players from all around the world come and showcase their game and style of play in the NBA. And when actually looking at it, it's kind of ridiculous to see how many players are from different countries other than the United States. And as you guys have already clicked on this video and seen the title, you can probably make a pretty strong guess of what it's going to be about. What is going on, guys? And yes, today we are going to be diving into and discussing the best NBA player from each country in the league at this point in time. Going off the 2018 to 2019 NBA roster, so if someone joined this recent offseason, I do apologize if I did not name them off for any reason. But yeah, you guys, I also do want to apologize. I am sorry for the recent stunt in not uploading any video. I've been dealing up with finishing work with the summer, and I just actually moved into my brand new house at college. So I'm finally fully settled in. I'm going to be pumping out a ton of videos for you guys on this channel and on my second channel as well. So stay tuned for that, you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But again, I do apologize for the short week and a half without any video. Also, make sure to leave your feedback down below by commenting if you guys think I missed a player from a certain country that you think is actually better than the player that I chose. We could have some controversy, I'm not quite sure. But without further ado, I'm glad to be back, and I will see you guys at the end of this video. Now, before we get into this list, actually, I just want to point out that I am only choosing countries for this video that actually have 3 or more total players from that country currently in the NBA. We all know if we look through the list of all-time players from each country and used every country, even if it only had 1 player, this video would take way too long, and it would honestly probably get pretty boring if I decided to do this. So we're sticking with this format. Each country that I do select has to have had at least 3 or more players currently in the league. But after pointing out that note, we are jumping into the first country of this video, and that is going to be Australia. And for Australia, I have chosen their best player to be Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, don't get me wrong, starting it off right here, it actually was a pretty tough decision, as Australia currently has some other big name players in the NBA, and the biggest other one I will mention is Ben Simmons. It was a toss-up between those two for the top position, but in my opinion, I felt like it was rather obvious in the end, going with Kyrie Irving to start this one off. Next up for this video, as we are going in alphabetical order, we have the country of Bosnia, and for this one, we have selected Jusuf Nurkic of the Portland Trailblazers. Now, as most of you guys know, last year, Jusuf Nurkic went down with one of the most gruesome injuries the game has probably ever seen. I can't watch that video twice without almost throwing up. I'm not kidding when I say this. But some other notable players from this country include Daniel Musa and Ivica Zubac. So there are some pretty decent names that most of you guys might know, but I felt like it was rather obvious to go with Jusuf Nurkic for this country. Next up for the video, we have Cameroon, and going with this country, you guys probably have 2 NBA players that come to mind right away. And these 2 players are indeed Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam. But for the video, you guys, I'm sorry for any of you guys who are Toronto Raptor fans or Pascal Siakam fans in general. I have clearly decided to go with Joel Embiid for this video. I do feel like it is rather obvious that Joel Embiid has the clear advantage over Pascal Siakam at this point. Don't get me wrong though, I believe that Pascal Siakam does have a very good future ahead of him. But for now, yes, we are going with Joel Embiid for the best player from the country of Cameroon. Next up, you guys, we have the country of Canada, as we are still going in alphabetical order. And for this one, we have decided to go with Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. There are actually a fair amount of notable names that I will list off for you guys from the country of Canada if you didn't know already. And these names include players like Tristan Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Kelly Olynyk, as well as Jamal Murray. But after reading off probably the top 5 that I could find from this country, I feel like most of you guys are going to agree with me that Jamal Murray is very clearly the best player from the country of Canada in the game right now. If you would like to make the argument that any one of these players is better than Jamal Murray, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I'm always looking for feedback. But yeah, there it is, Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets from the country of Canada. Now we are moving on to the country of Croatia, which I was very surprised to see actually has more than 3 players in the NBA. And going through all of these players in the NBA right now, we have chosen Bojan Bogdanovic as the best player out of this group right now. Other big names from the country of Croatia that you guys might not have known about include Mario Hezonja and Dario Saric. But again, I feel like it's rather obvious when looking at those 3 being the top names that Bojan Bogdanovic is the standout name as the best player. I hope you guys say that as well, because that is what I am going with, and I'm very confident in this. But anyway, moving on to the country of France now, we have chosen Rudy Gobert as the current best player from this country in the NBA, as I should state again. Tony Parker is another notable player on this list, but as I stated recently, we're talking right now, if it was an all-time discussion, it would be totally different. But it's not not, I'm doing just current players right now, and Rudy Gobert was the obvious selection. There's no doubt about that. Now we are on to the country of Germany for the next one, and this is going to be Dennis Schroder. Again, as I stated before, it is not an all-time list, as most of you would probably realize that Dirk is from the country of Germany as well. But after looking through the entire list, I'm pretty sure there was about 5 or 6 players from Germany that are in the league right now. Dennis Schroder was the standout player from the 2018-19 rosters as the clear best from this country. Next up, we have probably the most obvious one of the entire video, and there's honestly not much to say about this. And we are on to the country of Greece, where we have Giannis Antetokounmpo being the best player out of this selection. There's absolutely no doubt about it. When you are looking at these numbers, Giannis is one of the best players the NBA has to offer right now, and at such a young age, his potential is literally sky high, and it's going to be very exciting to see where this guy goes down the road in his NBA career. Next up, we have the country of Latvia, which I did not know there was a decent amount of players from this country actually, so that was another surprise when making this video and doing my research. But for the country of Latvia, we are going with Kristaps Porzingis by a fair amount. But again, there were only 3 total players from Latvia actually, as I'm looking at it now, and I don't even have to mention the other players in this list because Kristaps won it by that much of a landslide. I am not kidding when I say this, so I'm hoping you guys believe me. Next, we are on to the country of Serbia, and for Serbia, you guys, we have selected Nikola Jokic as the best player from this country. It was an obvious choice here again, in my opinion. I'm really hoping you guys would agree with me if you saw this list. The only other really notable name that was actually a decent player in the NBA right now is Bogdanovic of the Sacramento Kings. But like I just said, I really don't feel like it's a comparison between Bogdanovic and Nikola Jokic. No disrespect to Bogdanovic, but you guys hopefully know what I'm trying to say. Moving on to the final 2 countries, we are now going over Spain here, and going through Spain out of choosing between the players from this country. I think there were about 7 or 8 if I remember. I selected Marc Gasol of the Toronto Raptors. Names from the list of Spain include names like the Hernan Gomez brothers, the Gasol brothers, and Jose Calderon lining the top of the list. But as looking at who the best player is right now, again, it was pretty obvious in my eyes to go with Marc Gasol here. Again, if you want to make the argument, don't be afraid to leave your feedback in the comments. But yeah, Marc Gasol, clearly the best player from Spain right now. Moving on to the final country we have here that actually has more than 3 players currently in the NBA. We are on to the country of Turkey, rounding out our alphabetical order. And for this one, we have chosen Enes Kanter of the current Boston Celtics. I almost messed up right there and said the Portland Trailblazers, but I remembered my NBA free agency details. Don't get me wrong about that. Other notable names for the country of Turkey included some decent players like Ersan Ilyasova and a player on the rise in Seti Osman of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But again, when you look at those 2 names compared to Enes Kanter, I don't know, maybe you can make an argument for Ersan Ilyasova to Enes Kanter. I mean, I'm not going to make that comparison myself, but I could see how someone could pull that out and maybe say it. But in my eyes, I feel like it's very obvious that Enes Kanter is the clear choice in being the best player from the country of Turkey at this point in time in the National Basketball Association. Next up, we have the biggest sample size out of any country we have in this entire video, and you guys can probably guess which country this is, and it is the United States of America. And for this one, I feel like I have an obvious answer. This could be a debate. It's always a debate between every NBA fan, but for the United States, I have chosen LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's just personal opinion, but for this video, I have chosen LeBron James as the best player from the United States. Heck, some people might even say Kawhi Leonard. I'm not too sure. This one's always up for debate. If you guys have any differences from me, again, let me hear about them in the comments. So yes, there it is, you guys. There is the best current NBA player in the league from every major country around the world. Like I said, I do apologize if I missed a certain country that only has 1 or 2 players. I just felt like that was too little of a sample size to actually go into and choose the best player from that country, especially if there's only 1 player, because then without a doubt, they are the best player from that country, if you understand what I'm getting at. But regardless of the fact, I'm really hoping you guys did enjoy the video. And again, if you did, make sure to leave a like on it if you are still here. All the support is so appreciated, you guys. I truly cannot say that enough, and I thank each and every one of you for giving it to me on every single video. But after making that final comment, I think that's all I have to say. So once again, I thank you guys so much for watching. I love each and every one of you guys. You all know this, and please never forget it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!